Hello and welcome. My name is JodieLynn Craven, founder of Abundance Consciousness, and this is my dear friend, Heather Marie.
Hi, I'm Heather Marie, founder of Soulgate. Welcome to Channel Squared, where we have extraordinary conversations about everyday life topics.
Yeah, today we have a very, very special guest, founder of Safe Expansion and creator extraordinaire, Quinn Smith. And we're having a roundtable discussion about creation, new earth, and the new density. Welcome, Quinn.
Hello, thanks for having me. I appreciate you for inviting me on.
Yay! We're so excited that you're here. Do you want to give us like a little bit of a background on you, or some need to know things about Quinn before we jump into new earth and creation?
Sure. Yeah. So as Jodie introduced me, my name is Quinn Smith. I'm essentially a creator of things vibrational and tangible. I essentially utilize the connectivity, power, and vibration of creation to manifest tangible results for myself and my clients. That's pretty much me in a nutshell.
Oh no, I think we lost audio on Jodie.
There we go.
Live stream, folks.
Too many buttons. Oh, awesome. Okay, cool. Well, I think creation is such a dense topic that covers so many things, from what you were just saying, even like tangible, vibrational, co-creation. There's everything inside of this giant nutshell. So what is creation to you? What does it look like? And then we'll talk about how you approach things differently, Quinn.
Sure. So I think creation can be explained many ways. Just like spirituality, it resonates with people in different ways. So some people, I think, view creation as a form of manifestation. Some people, I think, view it as like becoming in vibrational alignment with something. And then I think other people just kind of perceive it as putting your energy behind something to essentially bring it into your reality or your experience or your life. Simply. So I think all of those things are essentially acceptable definitions of creation. I know that last week you guys also kind of talked about how it's a form of abundance as well. And I agree with that. I think those are two definitely related.
He's so precise and to the point. It's so funny because Heather and I go on these like massive tangents that lead us all over the place. And as you are, Quinn, you're just super direct.
I try to refrain myself from going on massive tangents. So I pick my words very, very particularly, I'll say.
Well, and isn't that a part of creation? Heather, we talked about a couple of weeks ago, spelling and how important that is. I don't know if you want to, touch on that or ask Quinn some questions around how precise he is with his language.
Well, yeah, last week or a couple weeks ago, the timing, we did talk a lot about spelling and about, casting spells with language. And I think that, the language being very important when you are communicating so that you cast the right spells. Quinn, when you create things, do you use spell casting in this way?
Yeah, I think it's a great point that you ladies are bringing up. Spelling, I think, is called spelling particularly because as you're spelling a word, you're essentially, like, as you beautifully said, you're casting a spell essentially. Whatever you put your intention behind, you're going to experience in your reality. So me personally, and when I work with clients, I have them describe to me, and I'll usually write down what it is that they want or type it up so they can see how they describe it to themselves. And you learn a lot by the verbiage that you use when, requesting something or, manifesting or creating in general. I think some people kind of get caught up in a few words, which might skew their actual end result. And other people might see their goal differently now that they have written it down and actually brought it into words. Me specifically, that's really how I create and absorb information in general, is like, once I read something, if I then write it down, now it's like really, I've actually integrated with those words after I've written them on a piece of paper. To me, that's like the final result of me actually understanding what I'm reading to its fullest extent.
It's so interesting that you say that. It makes me wonder if this is where, set in stone kind of came from. The words are set in stone when you write them down. Just food for thought, maybe. If anybody knows the answer to that, they should put it in the chat.
100%. That's so interesting. I've had this, not love, hate, but not far off relationship with writing things down, writing goals down. When I was growing up in business, it was like the hot thing to do. You got to write everything down, write all your goals down and read them every day. And I was Looney Tune about it, like religiously. I had to do it. And for me, it got to a point where I was, writing these things down that I wasn't connected with. And then I was getting disgruntled, I guess would be the best way to say it, that it wasn't coming yet. So it actually stopped feeling good and I stopped doing it altogether. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that, Quinn.
Yeah, I think there's definitely a fine line. Like you said, as you write things down, you can definitely discover what actually doesn't resonate with you. And that's also a good way of what I call sorting and bringing more clarity or, more perspective on what you're actually trying to achieve. So that's a good way to like bring yourself to that next step. But you don't also, if just because you wrote it down, that doesn't mean it can't be edited, like even though you're writing in pen, you can still cross it out and write something different. And so even through creation, there is iteration. There isn't like the first blueprint, the first idea isn't always the best idea that you come up with. Sometimes it takes iterations or, reading through or writing down the same thing multiple times to actually really understand what it is that you're trying to explain or, trying to describe, etc. So again, I wouldn't hold myself too crazily to the things that I've written down in a way that it becomes unhealthy or destructive in nature. But I do think that writing things down definitely holds power in general. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Come on.
Yeah, I know. Right. Well, and I think you already mentioned it too. We were first talking about intention. I think the intention of you specifically writing it down and the intention of what you are writing down, all of that, being cohesive or being in alignment matters. It's not just, I was doing it because somebody told me I needed to do X to be successful. And, so I did exactly that. And that's why it didn't feel good after a while, because I started to realize, like you just said, that they weren't my dreams. They weren't my goals. I was doing things for other people and it didn't resonate anymore. So sure. I love that. Yeah. So wise. So how are you different with your creation? So there's a lot of manifestation coaches out there specifically to help you call in a creation, and you are very different with your approach. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, so I think most people are familiar with the law of attraction, and with Abraham's work. And I think that's a valid way of manifesting, and I've used that many times in my life. My approach, like you said, is slightly different. Instead of using the law of attraction, I tap into what is called the vibration of creation. And the vibration of creation essentially represents like the oneness, how we're all connected, and essentially how everything is already created. And even Abraham notes this in their work when they say that you tap into the the vortex to pull out whatever it is that you're trying to manifest. And my perspective of creation is everything already exists. Like, whether you haven't seen it tangibly or firsthand doesn't mean that it isn't there. So it's really about becoming clear on what it is that you truly want, what you desire. And I use that word specifically because desire, I think, is much heavier than the words want or need. Because a desire is like an emotion. It like really connects deep. And I think creating, again, with intention, having that desire is extremely important. So first becoming clear on what it is that you actually want, write it down, talk with yourself about it, sit in silence, whatever your method is, and become clear on what it is you're trying to create. And then, see why you don't already have it anymore, or at the moment, like what is different between your life now, like where you're at and like where you want to be. And then we kind of uncover that journey of what that looks like.
So powerful.
I mean, vibration of creation, like that is such a massive thing. Quinn, how did you come up with this? Because this is a method, right? This is something that you have created, cultivated over lifetimes, many lifetimes. I mean, you've created massive things. And so when you came up with vibration of creation, like the method, how did you come about this? This is just so mind-blowing.
Thank you. I appreciate that. It's really kind of you to say. Yeah, so it was more me understanding of what the vibration of creation is, like essentially the energetic frequency that ties us all together, and how to become in what I call, and what many people call, vibrational alignment with that thing. I kind of described that as a description. I used that as a description of creation earlier. And really coming up with the method and utilizing that vibration really just through trial and error. Like, as my family, a lot of my close friends can attest, things just come really easily into my life. Like, I kind of jokingly say that, like, if I wanted to be a potato, like sit on the couch and just eat popcorn, I could still have everything I wanted in life at the same time. Just because it's very clear to me on the things that I want and how to achieve them. When it actually becomes a desire, when it's actually the energy, that vibration is actually driven to the point where I like it. It's a thing I need to have, or a desire, like a yearning for that to be created or brought into my experience, essentially. So honestly, just through experience, like realizing that it wasn't a fluke, or it wasn't just luck, that things with ease and flow came into my life as I asked for it. And then figuring out, okay, what things like came immediately into my life, and what were those, like what a state of emotion was I in when those things immediately came into my life, versus the things that took 5-10 years to actually integrate with my experience, and what was my emotional state through that purpose, or through that point. Because again, becoming vibrational alignment with what it is, and then staying in that alignment, is also the next point of how to create effectively.
So I want to ask a question from our viewers here on our live episode. What
Sure.
do you do when you start to doubt your desires? I know you have an amazing answer for this. So the question again is, what do you do when you start to doubt your desires?
Okay.
Such a good question.
I'm just going to start by saying I hate the word doubt. That word is not in my vocabulary. And I don't think I think I would encourage other people to find a way to remove it from theirs as well. That being said, I'll say that you're trying to reassess your creation. Maybe what you originally wanted isn't resonating with you the way that it did the first time that you requested it. And again, we evolve, we change, we grow, we have new experiences. And then with those new experiences and new knowledge, we're able to make better decisions. So at this point of your life, something has changed from your original request. Something in your life has happened from your original request to where it is now, where you don't feel that fulfillment that you're looking for with your original manifestation. So again, I would sit with it. I would write it down, whatever your method is that helps, you move through stuff and figure out, okay, what part of the manifestation doesn't resonate with you anymore? Is it all of it? Do you need to just let this go and focus on something completely different? Is there a piece of it? How does it look? What I would just get more granular with it if it doesn't resonate with you as a whole. If it doesn't resonate with you at all, I would just let it go, send it some love, let it go, and move on to find something else. Just because you originally wanted to manifest it doesn't mean you have to still manifest it. You can move on from it, or you can adjust. Again, through creation, there are often many iterations. So don't get discouraged if something that you wanted originally doesn't fit right. Oftentimes we look at something on the internet and we're like, oh man, I would love that jacket. And then you go to the store and you're like, it looks so good on the model, but when I put it on, it doesn't represent me the way I want to be represented, or doesn't just fit right like it fits that person. So then you find a jacket or you find something else that's similar, that is your style, that actually fits you and feels better, that you feel more confident wearing, in a public setting per se.
Who hasn't done that? Hey, thought, oh my God, maybe just a woman, mostly women do that. Or, oh my gosh, this is going to look so amazing. And then you get it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it doesn't. Oh, I love that, Quinn. Reassess.
Story of every woman's life.
That's right. I have a Jurassic Park jumpsuit just to prove it. Story for another day. But I think to play on what you're saying, Quinn, we get really attached to the things we think that we want. And it's difficult sometimes to steer from that path, or that, I don't know, the journey that we thought we were on. It's almost, some things it can be like a death or a grieving process of letting go and seeing, that's not what I want. And that's okay.
Yeah, I think you said an amazing word there in attachment. I think people get attached to things too easily, too deeply. And in our world, in our existence, in our reality, everything is temporary. Whether that be 100 years, 50 years, 2 days, 30 minutes, 20 seconds, like certain aspects, certain experiences, certain things of your life everything is going to end at its own due time when it's run its course. So for us to get attached really holds us and disallows us from moving forward or moving through said thing. So just not that you can't emotionally invest into things or enjoy things, and that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying is don't let something drag you down. If it's not serving you anymore, let it go. It's okay. You don't have to, hold on to everything,
But how?
Yeah, that's a great question.
I'm so glad you asked it. I'm so glad you asked it, because I was thinking it. So I'm so glad. Yes, Quinn, tell us how.
Yeah, do you have some tips on how?
Yeah. So again, it's really hard because, when you're talking about family, when someone that you love, how do you unattach yourself from that person? And again, I'm not saying that you shouldn't love that person, you shouldn't attach yourself to that person. I'm saying that we're all humans. We're all, spiritual beings having a human experience right now, and humans in our thought process and our perspective have a time span. Like we're subjected to time, right? We only live so long. Fathers, outlive, their mothers or whatever, like certain family members outlive other family members. And you need to be okay with the fact that at some point, like your life is going to change and you might have to move on or, live without that person. Those are the really hard things to detach, things that have been in your life for years and years and years. And I'm not saying that's easy. I'm saying, like, once you realize that certain attachments are becoming negative to you, try to find things to, lessen that draw, try to find that more healthy balance of like that moderate, ingestion of that attachment. And then as you accumulate new things, practice not being attached to those new experiences that you have. Obviously the ones that are more ingrained that you've been living with for years and years and years, it's not going to be easy to let that go. There's always a process for, losing a family member or breaking up in a relationship. Like, there's always a point of having to integrate and move through those things. And those are all valid feelings. I'm just saying that, like, as you realize that things come and go, if you practice not, making them a part of your identity and just more cherishing in the experience that they're giving you now, and living in the moment, as everybody says and encourages you to do, then you become less attached, because then you're not worrying about the past or the future. You're just enjoying what you have now. And that essentially will help you, move through that as well. Become less attached to things.
Yeah. And, it's interesting because this is something that you and I have worked on with regards to a business ending and a new one beginning, and how much these things become a part of your identity, and how close and personal it is to move through and let that thing go, that thing that you have loved and nurtured and cultivated for so many years. And the thing is that one of the big takeaways that I got when I worked with you on this very topic is the creation of space for the new to move in. And I think that is something that is so important, that working with you, you really can get. And that is that if you want to create the new, you have to have the space to allow it in. And when you have something that isn't nurturing you, that isn't giving you the experience or the outcome or the desire that you are trying to create, by letting it go, frees the space for that new creation to come in. I mean, it's such a powerful thing to do. Not easy, but very powerful.
Right. Exactly. I mean, Gary Vee said once that, I don't know if anybody really cares much for him or what your feelings are about him, but at least I like what he said here is, he said he looks forward to the day that he has to do something completely different because it's exciting. Right now he's a media mogul. He runs a bunch of media companies and, teaches, has a cartoon for kids and all this sort of stuff. But, it's the idea of that, like, he's been doing this thing for, a decade or whatever, and he's really good at it. And a lot of people look up to him, and like what he does and what he does. And he says that if, tomorrow he woke up and he had to give it all up and learn something completely new, that would be exciting for him, And I think also what you said is like moving through things. I also think, being comfortable on where you're at also makes it harder for you to disassociate yourself or detach yourself from something new. Because if you've been doing it for so long and then that's what you're comfortable with, it's hard. It seems more of a fear or anxiety versus excitement, even though those emotions feel very similar. It's the perspective of a new exciting beginning versus like, oh my gosh, I'm leaving my comfort zone and I'm stepping into something I don't know anything about when I'm a expert on the thing that I'm leaving. Like, is this even something I should be doing? You know? And again, do you want to live new experiences and do you want to have new adventures, or do you want to do the same thing over and over and over again? There's no right answer. It's just how you want to live your life.
And I think to, add to that, we get so caught up in who we think that thing makes us, whether it's a job or an individual or whatever. I know when I started my coaching practice, I never expected to go that way. I expected to be a financial broker forever. And there was a lot of emotion wrapped up in that. Like, my dreams and goals for so long were all tied to this one thing. And who I am, I felt in that moment, was a representation of being that person at that company. And it was completely changing. And it was something that I really to sit with and sift through and understand that, no, this is something that I do, not necessarily who I am.
Definitely.
It's hard.
Well, and I think that, when you think about the attachments that people have to their work, their businesses, their career, their title, whether it be their title in their job, their title as parent, their title as, whatever,
Yeah.
you look at, we have an entire generation of people that are entering their retirement or are already in retirement. And one of the things that I see on repeat is a lot of these souls entering retirement are entering this phase in their life where they're no longer their title or their job or their career or whatever, right? And so now they're having an identity crisis.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it would be extraordinary if people could disattach in the way that Quinn teaches, and uses as a philosophy to getting into this vibration, right? If they could detach from this, they would be able to create new. And Quinn, like, for the baby boomers that are out there that are either newly retired a little while, or getting ready to retire, what would you say to them to help them detach from those titles so that they can create new?
I guess just think of it as a new chapter in your life, like, I guess if you want to take it from the perspective of like relating to them, work hard your whole life and, get an education, find your job, get married, have family. Like, you've done all that now. Like, you've fulfilled your job as a citizen and given back to society. You've done those things as, they teach you in America and how to, live the American dream, so now do something for yourself. Like, I feel like right now, especially in our current climate, it's the perfect time to really focus on you. Like, do something that makes you happy for you. We spend so much of our time doing things for other people and, like, being in service to others. That's amazing. And as a collective and a community, as humanity, that's a necessity. But we also need to take care of ourselves. You can't as nearly as easy or as effectively support other people if you're not, supporting yourself, if you're not doing the things that you need to do to be happy, to be whole, to be fulfilled. Like, open up, try new things, look for new opportunities, figure out what lights you up. Again, it's all about perspective. Look at as a new chapter in your book, a new thing for you to dive into. My father ran a business with his dad and then with his brother, and then he retired. Then he went back to school and he turned his garage into like a woodworking shop, and now he woodworks for fun on the side. Like, it's crazy. Like, he has a full-on woodworking shop in his garage, and I've never known him in his entire life to be a woodworker. and now in his 60s or whatever, he just decided I'm going to learn how to, turn wood into bowls or chopsticks or blinds or window seals or a side table or whatever he wants to build, because at that point in his time, that's what enticed him. That's what, lit him up, what was exciting to him. So, just again, maybe make a list, think about something that you've always wanted to do, but you've never, brought yourself to do it. We always have those in the back of our mind, like, for the longest time, I've always wanted to learn this or do that. Now, this might be the great opportunity for you to do those things. Now you're not tied down to having a specific schedule. Now you can make the schedule that you want and turn your life into something that, makes you happy.
And I think it's an ever-changing bullseye, whether you're retired or, you're in your early 20s or something. I think that fulfillment and what fulfills me in this moment, having this conversation, is very fulfilling for me. That's why we do it. Very fulfilling for you guys. It's why we started this journey of doing these YouTube lives. And I've had things like, I started to paint last winter because I was tired of watching crappy TV, and then I would do this. And I think it's ever evolving because we are ever evolving, and that what fulfills you, whether it's a job or a person or a thing today, can be very different in 12 months from now, and that's okay.
So true. Yeah. So if I may ask a question, I'm sure JodieLynn's got a million questions, but I have a question. Quinn, what is it that you desire?
What is it that I desire?
Oh, yes.
I want to know two. I want to know one that you personally desire and one that you desire for humanity.
I would say they both kind of fall in line with each other, because I think for as long as I can remember, like when I, blew out, the candles on a cake for my birthday or dropped a penny in a well, from all those times until now, I've always held myself to wanting to reach my full potential, like become the full expression of myself. Like before I pass away, I want to be able to look back on my life and say that like I had no regrets, and that at least at the end of the day, I expressed myself and entirely, I didn't hold back. I did the things that I wanted to do, I think then I will know that like I lived up to my expectations. I lived a full, happy life. And that's what I would kind of say the same thing for humanity. Me being a creator and co-creating with my clients, I want them to live their most abundant timeline, or their most greatest existence, however you want to describe it. Everybody has the ability to create. All you need to do is just get really clear on what that looks like and go for it. And I would just it would make me the happiest person to be able to assist as many people possible in that journey, to be able to really reveal to themselves or learn about themselves who they truly are and how magnificent every individual one of us actually is, and how we have limitless potential. And if we could just wrap our human brain around that for a split second, we could just do so many magnificent things.
Yeah, that was a mic drop.
Definitely.
Seriously, if the whole world woke up every single day to experience their extraordinary self, or what this world has to offer and all the extraordinary things in it, how would our world look different?
It would be a different world, that's for sure.
Whole new world. Did you have another question?
Oh. Yes. Thank you, Disney.
Okay, I've got another question. What do you see people fall down with the most when it comes to creating what they desire in their life?
Great question. I knew I had this prepared for a reason. I was on Instagram today and I wanted to screenshot something because someone quoted something cool. But it was essentially, okay, here it is. Robert Edward Grant posted this on his Instagram, which I love him. Shout out to him. He's a great follow. But he quoted Socrates, and it says, "The secret of change is to focus all of our energy, not on fighting the old, but building the new." And I think that is so encapsulating because right now we're so divided and we're so worried about negative things happening to us that we're not focusing on the positive things happening to us. And if, I'm a big advocate in like whatever you consume and however your emotional state is like essentially the ease and the flow of your general reality. So if you can keep yourself in a happy state, not like I'm saying like go blind, become blind to the world around you. I'm just saying like, again, don't attach yourself with all the negativity. Be the observer. Take this the stance of the observer and watch the world, unfold before your eyes, and then focus on the things that you want to experience. Like if you don't want to experience, negativity or hate or depression or sadness, don't ingest those things. Don't watch those things. It's okay to educate yourself what's going on with your life, but don't sink into the energetic field or the container that they hold. Observe them. And then again, don't attach, let it go. Attach yourself, if you're going to attach yourself to anything, to something positive, something that fills you up until it no longer serves you. And then again, let it go with love. But if you keep that same rhythm, then you'll be much happier. You'll create things so much more easier in your life. And you will be that much closer to experiencing the life that you actually want to be experiencing versus living in the old life that you're trying to get away from.
Yeah. I wrote notes, Quinn.
I'm not really even sure how to follow up with his massive knowledge bombs. It's almost like I got to take it in for a second.
And just breathe. Wow. Whew. Yeah. I think the world really needed to hear that right now. Because we are attaching. I know I'm guilty of this too. Sure, you guys can agree. Sometimes you get just caught up.
Well, and it's easy to get caught up because we're being inundated and indoctrinated into a mindset. Hey, conspiracy theory or not, the writing is on the wall, right? We see what's happening in the world, as observers. The three of us, I think, can agree that this is an indoctrination into a mindset, brainwashing of sorts. And, if humans do not wake up and take care of themselves and one another, it could have unfortunate outcome. So I think that what Quinn is saying, it's so important that that we really we need to blast that out into the universe.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Jodie, I cut you off.
I was just going to say that, a lot of people are inundated with all this information, and then we go into this fight or flight mode, and our body and our brain doesn't work rationally anymore. It's completely irrational. We're being, charged by a lion or a tiger, or, whatever you want to call it. And I think it's so important at this time to get a grip on what you are feeling, not ignoring what you're feeling, but understanding what it is you're feeling, and exactly what you were talking about, Quinn, just sending yourself some love, sending the situation some love. Funny story. I accidentally got into a conversation on a Facebook page. I just shouldn't have replied, but I did. And I got sucked in. Anyway, I was all like heated and like all of this stuff about it. And then I took a step back and I was like, you know what? We're all just doing the best that we can, whether you're on one side or you're on the other, or, whatever. We're just trying to do the best that we can, trying to do what we think is right. Even if I think you're wrong, I can agree with that you're trying to do what you think is right for you and for the world. And I really took a step back and I sat with it. And then I sent the entire group of people love. And then the next message that I sent, even though just as maybe polarizing as the first one that I had said in this whole thread of messages and back and forth, because I sent it with love and with the intention of love, of just respecting their opinion and also expressing mine, expressing a different one, it was received completely different. I felt the energy shift so rapidly and so differently in that moment. And then the whole conversation kind of just went away. Everybody just kind of like, okay, thanks. It was a different experience.
Yeah, I think also observing or coming from a place of compassion, I think supporting or feeling for those people who are going through hard times. And then, like you said, Jodie, not being mad or angry at the people who don't share your same perspective. Like, it's okay that they think, a different way. We all don't think a certain way at the same time. Sometimes we never have same, thoughts or same, ideals, or sometimes it just takes other people to understand or come to those same thoughts or ideals. But either way, having compassion for those people and not judging them because they're different, like you said, they're just living their life, doing what they feel is necessary to keep themselves safe, with the knowledge and the experiences that they have. And then, being compassionate for those who are going through hard times and, sending them love and supporting them any way you can. Within reason, obviously, don't kill yourself over it. But, again, like finding that balance between keeping yourself whole and then being able to be of service to others simultaneously.
Yeah. Well, with that, should we dive into some things that I'm really excited about, like world events, New Earth, the Rapture? What's your take? I know we were going there already. So
yeah, pick one. I'll start.
Oh man. Let's talk world events and the Rapture. I don't think we're going to get through all of them because 15 minutes. There's a lot of people talking about this is the Rapture right now with what's going on in the world. I want to know, Quinn, what are your thoughts? How did we create this?
The word rapture, I mean, it seems so scary and like, monotonous and like overbearing and stuff. And I think we've gone through a lot of raptures. If I'm not mistaken, I believe there's supposedly have been a lot of those over the years that just never happened, but supposedly should have, according to timelines and other things. So I kind of like throw that out at the wind. Like, there is no rapture. It's not like things might get, worse from your perspective. You might call that the rapture, then that can be your definition of it. Sure. I think our experience that we're currently having, I think world events, this is really the defining moment where we are divided. Like, we are truly divided. You can take any specific statistic number, whether you're talking about, what's happening globally with everybody, and 50% response to it and 50% of the other side's response to it, like how we're so driven, some countries not even responding to it all, like it's never even happening, and some people are completely shutting down the place because they feel like that needs to happen. Again, this is really, I think, like the division, I don't want to say pick sides, but more like feel out where you feel, take a stand for what you think is right, and in a respectable way. I think we should all, if we all took the time to hear each other's opinions versus screaming each other our opinion, we would accomplish a lot more. But I do think this is really a time for division, where people really need to look deep into themselves and see what resonates with them. Where do they stand? What do they want for their future? Like right now, I think this is the defining moment for actually getting clear on the new reality that you want to experience. Like, because the time of deciding is very near. Do you want to, what side of the fence do you want to stand on? So I think that's really what's happening, is as a collective, as humanity, we're expressing our free will and all gathering around the fence and picking sides right now. I think that's what's happening, to the point where maybe sides clash. I don't know, and hopefully not. But it's a possibility that again, like I said, things might get worse based on how people depend on how they want to express their free will and how they want to treat each other. So that's why I always say, just send love to the space and to the people around you, and try not to give too much energy to the side that you don't want to associate yourself with. Live in the container, live in the energy of the existence that you want to reside in, the density that you want to express. And I'm not sure how many of your viewers are like, understanding what I mean when I say that, but I view density as like, if you're in the third density, like, or the fourth density, that represents like the range of emotions that you're experiencing. The lower density, like the lower number, like 3, is more like sadness, despair, anger, frustration, hatred, fear. And then as you go up the ladder towards the higher numbers, like 5th density, you're more in the realm of love and compassion and joy and happiness. And if you choose to look from the world from that perspective, that's the existence you'll most likely reside in.
Well, and I think that, you talking about the fence, right? And being on one side or the other, and that can be very subjective, right? It
Sure.
can be, we can be
I'm
talking
trying to be
about,
vague on purpose. Yes.
right. But, I think the important thing to be very direct on is the side of the fence that you want to vibrate with, the side of the fence that do you want to continue to experience hate and fear and despair and sadness, or do you want to experience love and happiness and joy and bliss and all these wonderful feelings? Because the actions that you take and the emotions and energy that you give your side of the fence is exactly where you are going to put your roots in. So I think that was beautifully said, Quinn, that people they're at the jumping off point. Pick a side, people. Do you want to continue to live in the bullshit, or is the grass greener on the other side?
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I think both perspectives, no matter where you'd stand, you can apply that same, perspective to, that same process to. Whatever you feel like is bullshit, reside on the other side. And I think you very beautifully said that, as like followed up as well. Where do you want to plant your roots? Where do you want to, where do you want to reside? So it's a really important question that people need to answer right now.
Yeah. Vincent has a question, actually. He says, doesn't it seem that the ability to be social and communicate has outmatched social norms and decorum?
Let me wrap my brain around that one. Can you read that for me again once more?
Yeah. Doesn't it seem the ability to be social and communicate has outmatched social norms and decorum?
Yeah, I think definitely, like social norms, I feel like I'll just say like shaking someone's hand or giving someone a hug, like in public, like, or sneezing or coughing, like those are, those are, I think, very easily low fruit social norms that really like aren't all that acceptable anymore, and just, it's hard to be social. It's hard to be out and communicate. Like, just like we're saying, if you're out expressing your feelings and someone doesn't agree with you, it's more times than not, you'll probably be met with harsh criticism, and I think that's why it's refraining from people from actually being social and actually communicating, and that's tough. I think really standing up for what you believe in and expressing the things that you feel are right is the way to support it. Um, doing even if you're the one or few people actually standing up for that thing, try to be brave, try to be independent, try to be the pioneer, try to empower other people from following suit, because a lot of people are waiting for the someone else to do it first before they feel comfortable, just like the awkward kid, waiting on the side of the dance floor, looking for someone to dance to. No one wants to dance because, they're too afraid to ask the girl on the other side of the room to actually dance. And so it's completely empty. It takes the first person to drag their friends out on the dance floor and to start dancing in front of everybody else before the whole room gets comfortable enough to start dancing and partying and having a good time, whether they're a good dancer or a bad dancer, and I think that's really what it's going to take right now, is someone taking, like, willing to look a little ridiculous for a few seconds and start dancing in front of everybody to bring the whole room together, so I would definitely agree with that. It does see that, the ability to be social and communicate has, done some, it's changed social norms, it's definitely affected. I think that's kind of, if we're going to talk narrative and conspiracy, I think that's part of it. The easiest way to to conquer is divide people, to separate them, to break them from, what empowers them, what makes them feel safe. And people feel safe in numbers. If they're all by themselves, alone, scared in their own thoughts, it can be a negative experience if you don't know how to handle it. So yeah, great question.
Agreed.
Yeah, that is such a great question. And I think something to add too is that a lot of times we feel so alone because, well, we've been isolated for how long? You're told to stay in your home, you're told to not really go out or whatever for this long period of time. And I have found that I have been wondering how many people think the same things as I do or see things that I am seeing at this time. And for a long period of time, I thought I was alone in that. And it's the realization that there is more people who want to hug you, or are okay if you sneeze, like they're not going to judge you, or whatever it is. More people out there that want to dance at the high school dance than you think that there is. You're not all alone. You just may be the first one who decides to be bold and take that chance. Yeah,
Definitely.
amazing. We're getting super short on time, so we have to pick our questions very, very carefully. Should we ask about New Earth, Heather?
Ooh, yes.
Ooh, okay. We've been talking a lot about New Earth, and I want to know your take on it. Is it a new planet? Is it a hologram? What's the difference? How do we get there?
Okay, so if I were to describe it, I would call it more as a hologram than a new planet. I think that's easier for people to wrap their brain around. I'm not really sure. I think it's easier for people to think that they like have transcended energetically and maybe physically to a new space than to actually have to migrate to a whole new planet, like physically go somewhere else, like blast off to Mars and inhabit Mars or whatever. Like that's not, I think, what we're discussing here. I think it's, yeah, I guess I would call it more as a hologram. Some people, kind of think that or believe, or there's a, conspiracy or a theory, I should say, not a conspiracy or theory, that we're living in a hologram, that we're living in a computer simulation, and that this is not actually physical things. And, there's science that dictates that like your eyes don't actually perceive anything. It's just whatever your brain is picking up. It's actually your eyes are projecting whatever your brain is integrating with or is processing. So, based on those comments, you could argue that, yeah, we probably are living in a hologram or some sort of reality right now. And then I would consider the new Earth or Earth Star, or however you want to call it, to be a new hologram, like, the upgrade to this one, essentially one with a new set of rules. And back to like my previous comment of like living in like 3D, 4D, 5D, the new hologram doesn't hold all those range of densities like this current existence or this current hologram does. Like, and I don't mean like physical density, like 3D as like something physical. I mean like as the representation of like the emotion, like fear, hate, sadness. So those emotions won't exist in the new density, in the new Earth, the new hologram. So that's, some people call it polarity. That isn't allowed in there. It's more of a place of ease and flow that's built on principles that are for that supporting humanity as a whole, like collective, like the oneness, like for us all to live long and prosper, as they say. So yeah, I can get more specific about any questions you have, but that's kind of like the overarching idea.
It sounds
So
incredible.
So I have a question. So how can we begin this shift to this Earth Star, this new hologram? I mean, is it about vibration? Like what is the vehicle that we need to implement to get there? Do you know that?
Yeah, great question. The easiest thing I would say, if you want to bring in the new existence, what are you trying to bring in? Everything's already created. This hologram is already created for you. To be able to achieve that reality, you must become vibrational alignment with that reality. So you must live a life void of those emotions. Like, not to say that you can't be human, but you need to practice on disassociating yourself and not attaching and living in the space of sadness and fear and all those things. Like, like we were talking about earlier, anxiety is a very similar emotional feeling to excitement. Really, like you could, if you get fired, you could perceive that as lots of anxiety as fear, or you could perceive it as, okay, this is meant for me. This is a new chapter. Like, I'm going to do something exciting with my life. I'm going to use this opportunity to look for better. So it's all about, sorry, my dog is over here. I can't know if you can hear him. He's groaning. But yeah, so it's all about finding that that outlook, that perspective. And the more you do that, the more you associate yourself with love, with ease, with flow. You open yourself to opportunity. You stop resisting those things around you. You stop residing in a place of fear or sadness or anger. You again disattach those things that are lower vibrational from you, and live a fulfilling life. Do the things that make you happy. Like, really dig down deep, and like we said, like, make the decision. Like, do you want to live in a place of ease and flow and abundance and love? Then you need to do those things. Like, form your day around those things. I know you can't just quit your job and do these drastic changes necessarily, depending on your situation, but you can do what you can right now and allow yourself new opportunities so the universe can bring them to you. A lot of people are like, I want this, I want that. And like, the universe is waiting to give you those things, but you have to allow a vehicle for to bring it into your existence. Like, if you're like, oh, I want money, but you don't do anything different, like you don't even play the lottery, you don't even like allow yourself to accept more money, you don't check your mail because so you can't cash whatever random check the government might be giving to you as a stimulus. Like, you have to allow yourself these opportunities to grow, to have a different perspective, one step at a time. Don't drastic changes are really hard. So I always, I would say, start with what's comfortable and then slowly get out of that comfort system. If you've never meditated before, start with a minute and then meditate for 2 minutes and then 3 minutes and 5. You don't just sit down and meditate for 30 minutes when it's the first time you've ever meditated before, or whatever. Or, if you're learning a new instrument, you don't just like practice 2 hours every day. You find a healthy medium. So do what you can and start trying to live your life in the way that you actually want to live it. And the more you do that, I guarantee one day you'll look back and you'll be like, my life is full of abundance. It's full of things that I've wanted. And man, I'm living in the new density right now. I'm in the new hologram. Look at, there is no more polarity if there's left. There is no more sadness. There's no more fear. There's no more, despair. And I know that might not be what people are looking to hear, but that's really how you change your realities. You change your perception. You change the way that you respond to things. All the decisions, all the things that you do, that's what creates the person, the experience that you have.
Wow. So to sum it up, people really just need to begin in order for the universe to respond.
Right. I go back to my original quote that, Robert dropped on his Instagram, the quoting Socrates is, give it all your energy, but don't give, the old stuff your energy, give the new stuff your energy. That's when you'll go, that's when you'll move densities. That's when you'll go to the new hologram, is when you start giving your energy to the things you want to change, the better, not the bad.
So amazing. So amazing.
Wow.
Thank
Okay.
you, Quinn, for
It's
being
my pleasure.
here.
Thank you so much for having me. This has really been fun. I love having these conversations. I could do this all day, honestly.
We could do this all day with you as well. This was mind blowing. Let's tell everybody that's watching how they find you, what you offer, how they can connect with you, because I think that's really important. You're a super powerful creator, and more people need to know about you so that they can create more amazing things. So tell us.
So yeah, the best way to find me right now is just on Instagram. You can follow me at Safe Expansion, direct message me, hit me up. I'll gladly answer any questions you have, or even hop on a call if you want to, reminisce a bit. Soon I had a website, but it didn't represent me the way I wanted it to. So I felt like I needed a facelift before I could put it back online. So you can probably expect that within the next week or two for me to get my new website out. But again, the easiest way is to follow me on Instagram, Save Expansion on Instagram. Follow me, direct message me, hit me up, say hi. I'd love to have a conversation with you, or help you out in manifesting, anything tangible or vibrational for you as well. So we can co-create together if that's what you want.
So tangible. Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. You were going to ask him exactly what I was thinking. Go ahead.
Can you just give us a little tidbit on the difference between tangible, vibrational, and then your co-creative? Because I think that you offer all three experiences.
Yeah. So again, all creations kind of work the same way. Vibrations are a little more vibrational manifestation is a little more deeper. I would probably throw that into the category of like partnership, family, money, status, like essentially something you can't hold. People might say, oh, you can hold money, but like but money is you of all people know, Jodie, money is not tangible. It's a vibrational thing. It flows, it moves, it has direction. So I lump that around as a vibrational manifestation. So something that you can't really like go and buy. You like, I guess you could, yeah, you can't really buy love. You can't really buy family. You can't buy money. So those are vibrational things that you therefore come in alignment with and bring them into your existence. Tangible things I manifest for you is something you can physically touch, like this pen. If you really wanted a fancy pen, I figure out where it goes for you and we can manifest it into existence. If there's like a house that you want, if there's a car that you want, if you want tickets to a concert because you want to, go to an event or something like that, something you can physically touch, then that's what I would lump into the tangible. I say that's much easier because let's say, you want to manifest a car. It's very easy for us to describe the car we want. If it's a two-seater, if it's a convertible, who makes it, is it an Aston Martin? What kind of car do you want? Is it a Maserati? But when you're trying to manifest love, you can't as well as easily describe your perfect partner, the person who fits you like a glove, the person you want to spend the rest of your life with, or the amount of money that you make, how you make that money, how it flows into your life. It's not nearly as easily to describe. That's why I separate those two. So I work with people in a more quicker sense for a tangible thing. I work for people in a more like contractual way over a span of months for a vibrational thing. And then also I have a group that I'm starting up for people who want to essentially be in my space of creation and want to bounce ideas off me, because like we were talking before, being very clear on what it is that you're trying to manifest, the words that you use to describe those things and how you request it to the universe is extremely important. So if you have contradictory ideas or thoughts in your request, then that prevents the universe from bringing it into existence. So I kind of work with, a group of people and hold the space in that regard as well.
Wow. Amazing. And I think we can put your Instagram link and everything in the description of
Awesome.
this video so that
Thank you.
when people come back, of course. All right. Before we wrap things up, thank you so much for being here, Quinn. Any final thoughts? Heather, Quinn, either one of you? Final thoughts. Mic drops.
I'm gonna let Quinn do the mic drop.
Okay,
Since he is the man of the hour.
if I had to say any last final words, I would say, again, be very conscious with the intention of what you put your energy behind, what you ingest, what you consume. If you want to live a more positive life, look for more positive in your life. So I would really, I'd really recommend for people to just be very clear on that. And, sorry, my dog is making noise, but yeah. So anyways,
adorable.
Yeah, I would just don't get caught up in the negative. Don't get caught up in all the things that are holding you down. Try to let it go and, look for the positive things in your life.
Amazing. I love it. Thank you again, Quinn, for being here. And a couple final thoughts here. Our next live is, should we do like a drum roll or something?
Ooh.
Next week, we have decided the vote was taken. The people have spoken. We will be doing a live every single Tuesday. So our next one is Tuesday, the 14th. We are going to go live weekly. We're going to start to have regular guests like the wonderful Quinn Smith on our show. So if you liked this video, make sure that you actually hit the like button, that you subscribe, you hit all the notifications, share it. And thank you so much for everybody that showed up today. I think we have Vincent was here, Victoria was here, Kat was here. Am I missing anybody else, Heather?
I don't know because I can't scroll.
It's all good.
If we missed you, thank you.
Yeah, we love you. And, our collective mission here in this lifetime is to assist humanity with our gift sets. Quinn just told you all of the beautiful things that he does, and we're going to have his information in the description below. Heather is a gifted channeler helping leaders understand their mission in this lifetime. And I use conscious channeling to help entrepreneurs consistently attract abundance into their life. So check out our websites below, reach out to us. If you want to know what we do or how we can help you on this journey, that's exactly what we're here for. Thank you so much for being a part of our message today and our journey. And thank you again, Quinn. This was an amazing, amazing conversation.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It was a pleasure.
Yeah, till next week.
Till next week.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.